Unconditional love to all life everywhere. I'm Olo, Thoth, code in the cosmos, sending you heart, love, and energy. So today's topic is guidance. My intention with making this video is to reveal to you the secrets of the guidance system, the guidance that leads one to liberation, enlightenment, or nirvana, whatever word you choose to call it. First of all, I wanted to explain low and high frequency. So low frequency meaning lack of love, and high frequency meaning abundance of love. So when you're at a low frequency things or activities feel good to you. This is why we see low frequency beings or people doing things that are not in alignment with love, such as drugs and alcohol, bad habits, surrounding themselves with lack of love people, if you want to call it that, and things like this. So when you're at a high frequency things feel good to you. Surrounding yourself with love feels good to you. Going for a walk in nature feels good to you. Doing some art or expressing yourself, having a deep conversation about love or in spirit and how much you care for each other and stuff like this is a very high frequency. And when you're at a high frequency, it feels good to you. But when you're at a low frequency, love and all of these things might just seem cheesy to you or something's off about it. But really, it's the righteous thing. Love is always the righteous choice. So if you're at a low frequency, the best way to put everything in its proper place, to see truly what is right and what is wrong, you have to forgive, and forgive to raise your frequency so that good things feel good to you and bad things feel bad to you. Forgiveness is the practice of overlooking sin into the innocence that we all are. Everything is. God is in everything I see. One of the mantras of A Course in Miracles. And I'm writing a book like A Course in Miracles, actually. It's called The Book of Wisdom and Love by Thoth, yours truly. I just wanted to share that because I'm very excited about it, and it's going to be pretty much just like A Course in Miracles when it's finished. I feel it, it might be a little simpler wording and said differently, but it's the same sort of essence with it, the same teachings, the same principles, in alignment with love and truth. So, forgive to raise your frequency. So, like I said, it's the act of, overlooking sin into the innocence that everything is. And this does not mean that you do not respond to images of the world. Like, for example, if someone treats you badly, to distance yourself from that person is actually righteous still, yes. You do not ignore on the level of form all of these negative energies or actions or whatever. But you do remove your own bitterness and therefore not add to the problem. You're adding to the solution to the problem, if that makes sense. Because if you take away your awareness of love in any situation, you will not act out of that love, and you will not be in alignment with that healing love that does solve the problem. If you're, dwelling in those dark thoughts and letting them have power over you, then you are indeed adding to the problem, which is the ego mind in the grand scheme of things. So how the sacred spirit guides us is through our feelings. Some call it the emotional guidance system. And I want you, first of all, to begin listening to how you feel. Simple as that. Just listening to how you feel. Pay attention to how you feel when you do certain activities in your day, and when you think certain thoughts and certain, you know, certain things like that. I want you to pay attention to what it is that you want, what it is that makes you feel good, what makes you feel fulfilled, what makes you feel zealous and fully alive. And I want you to continue doing those things that make you feel fully alive. And if you're at a low frequency, you even know in your heart what is right and what is wrong. Though it might feel, your feelings might tell you differently, but you must, in a way, override your guidance system when you're at a low frequency and do what feels bad to you. Because when you're at a low frequency, when you're depressed, for example, you must think thoughts like, I choose to be happy. And this thought, you might have a lot of resistance to it. You might have a lot of negative feelings surrounding that thought, like, oh, I can't do it, or this is cheesy or something. Well, it's not cheesy and it's not wrong. It's actually righteous to just switch the direction of your thought and will that joy into being by saying, I choose to be happy. I choose to be happy until you feel happy. Even though it might feel hard or it's not working or something, all these dark thoughts, just get rid of them and think of one mantra. I choose to be happy instead of this, or something like that. So even when you're at a low frequency, there's something in you that does know what's right and what's wrong. But the sacred spirit guides us through our feelings. And when you're at a high frequency, just do what feels good to you, honestly. So we're guided by our feelings. So I'm gonna give a list of high frequency activities. It might be different for everyone to some degree, but I feel like I'm sharing activities that everyone can enjoy if they are open-minded to trying new things and getting out of their habitual routines or whatever. Up for life changes. I personally feel inspired to make some life changes lately, so maybe I'll start doing some more of these activities as well. I'm just settling back into my house. I was away for a little while, so I apologize for not making any videos. If any of you were looking out for a video, I was on Salt Spring Island, and I was just not living the lifestyle that I could really do my hobbies, and now I'm happy to be back in Quesnel, creating again, being more creative in another way. So prayer and guidance. So you can say a simple prayer like, the sacred spirit, I surrender to you and your will for me. I trust that your will is right for me. Please guide me to doing what's right and what is loving. Something like that actually can go a long way, guys. Really. The angels and all these non-physical beings do need our permission to actually be able to guide us. They need our permission. Without our willingness to listen, without our willingness to be guided, how can we accept this guidance and be guided? So go deep into yourself, even meditate on this guidance if you wish, and meditate on how willing you are to listen to your guidance system and follow it, to do what it tells you, to live in spirit, essentially. And just meditate or contemplate even. You don't have to sit and cross-legged if you don't want to. But really just say a simple prayer like what I just said. And listen to how you feel. And act out of that inspiration. And creativity is a great thing to do also. It's something that spirit feels inspired to do through the body. So but as I was saying, the non-physical beings, the angels, need our permission. So just contemplate, surrender to the will of spirit, and trusting it as well. And that alone will guide you to do amazing things in your life and have a beautiful life and be happy living it. So prayer is very powerful with activating this guidance within you and everything, if that makes sense. The willingness to listen. There's a quote in A Course in Miracles that says something along these lines. It says, your willingness to listen is how loud the voice of the Holy Spirit in your mind will be. Or it says something like that, yeah. How much you hear the Holy Spirit is in accordance with your willingness to listen to it. So it's not, that, when you're trying to listen to God's voice and you don't hear anything, it's not because of anything else besides that you aren't willing to hear it. You aren't willing to follow it. And if you were willing to listen and follow it, you would hear it. It's just as simple as that. You might think this is not true, what I'm saying. You might be saying, oh, I'd be willing to do anything. I'd be willing to follow the Spirit every day of my life and blah, blah, blah. But once you hear one thing that the Holy Spirit tells you to do, or tells you to feel or something, you say, oh no, I don't want to. So we have some stubbornness, some arrogance towards spirit at times as human beings. But to tap into our spiritual nature beyond being a human being is what this guidance is trying to show us to do. So just surrender to spirit and work on this willingness to listen and hear the Holy Spirit's voice, your inner voice, and also listening to how you feel. You might have a lot of resistance to actually even just simply feeling how you feel about certain things. You might realize that you feel guilty for doing certain things, or you feel bad about doing certain things, or you feel really good about doing something that you never do. But to just accept these things and listen to this sort of thing will help you in the long run. And it's easier than denying this guidance, denying what's best for you. Having this stubbornness is not serving you anymore, and has never served you in the past. So just give up the stubbornness and work on building up and growing your willingness to listen to how you feel. Make it as strong as you possibly can. Every day, as many times as you can, say, I surrender to you, Spirit, and your will for me. I trust that it is right. And the Spirit is saying, I will guide you right now, is what I hear. So I think that's a good thing. But now it's just continuing that process and deepening it so that you really feel your feelings and you really hear that inner voice and not cover it up with some darkness or some dark thoughts. Our nature and miracles. So our true nature is enlightenment and is heaven, really. But we have gone astray from our nature, as you can see in this world, as you see played out in society, that people are not listening to their guidance and they are not seeing heaven and everywhere and living in peace and joy and love. So, but miracles happen naturally, and they shouldn't happen when they are not guided. So this is just something that comes when you live in your true nature, is miracles happen. And when your miracles are not happening, you have stepped away from your nature. So I want you to embrace your nature as love, as heaven, because that is what you are. That is what we all are. And prayer is a medium for miracles to happen. So pray for forgiveness. That's the truest prayer. Pray for peace. Pray for love. Pray for the awareness of love. And miracles are just something that will happen. I don't want you to think that they are the goal, because they're not. They're just a tool that saves thousands of years of learning and replaces it with perfect joy, all of that time that it would take to learn or to remember enlightenment. A miracle can save you time, is what I'm trying to say. So you are spirit, the guide. So I wanted to explain this. Like even with channeling, people say I am a channeler, but really spirit is speaking through the body. So it's not that I am the body and I am a channeler. It is I am spirit moving this body, channeling it, if that makes sense. The word is kind of backwards in English, but really we're spirit channeling through the body, if that makes sense. And the same goes for guidance. We are actually the ones that are guiding this body around. We are the ones that are giving the guidance. Our inner voice that we hear is who we truly are. What it wants us to do is what we should be doing. And I just want you to truly realize that voice you hear about love, about joy, about all of these things within your mind is who you truly are. And your false self is the one, listening to the guidance. Your true self is the one that is sharing the guidance. So I want you guys to understand that you are spirit, not a body. And that you are home already. You are love. And rejoice in this, of course. Because any lack is not there. We are in abundance. We are in perfect love forever. So to really realize this is to be truly guided in some sense, which might sound very paradoxical, but because of the wording of it. Am I guided? Or am I guiding? I guess I'm guiding because I'm spirit. And to embrace this is another step towards, nirvana and the goal of all of these incarnations that seem to occur. Separation has never occurred, and this is the highest realization, that we are in heaven right now and that we're in perfect peace, perfect love. I just wrote down follow how you feel. I've talked about that a bunch of times already. So I've mostly talked about feeling how you feel though, but to truly follow how you feel is the next step. And when you feel inspired, just go for it. If you feel pulled to ask the Spirit if it's righteous, then do that. But don't just deny your inspiration and say, no, I don't feel like it, or blah, blah, blah. Because that's probably because you're at a low frequency that you don't feel like it. Does that make sense? So get out of that, shake yourself out of this. Get a hold of yourself, and do what you feel inspired to do. And maybe it'll take some effort at first until you get into the routine of it and the habit of doing what you feel is right. Might take some effort at first, but just go for it. Do what you feel passionate about. Do what you love. Surround yourself with love. Raise your frequency through the practice of forgiveness, and you will find out what it is you truly want, what you truly desire in this life. And then the last point is use your time wisely. So what I mean by this is do the high frequency activities. So some high frequency activities could be, spiritual practices, of course, right? Like maybe your love relationship with yourself is doing yoga. Maybe it's repeating mantras. Maybe it's Tai Chi. Maybe it's pranayama. Maybe it's going for a walk in nature and repeating mantras or something, or hanging out with some friends, sharing the Holy Spirit to have it, So spiritual practices, and then there's also, things that are spiritual practices as well that people don't really see as spiritual practices, like going for a walk in nature, for example, can be very cleansing and very healing and all of these great things. Nature is at a very high frequency itself. It's part of our nature to live naturally, of course. So just being in the forest, going for a walk, can really ease the mind, can really be a place where you can tap into your guidance very well, actually. And maybe while you're going for a walk, it'll inspire you to do the next high frequency thing that's even higher frequency or something, right? But things you can do is make some life changes. Maybe if, the drugs and alcohol feel bad to you, then bring an end to it. Pray for guidance in quitting. Or if, the friends that you hang out with are seeming to drain you, or they're, they're not very loving, then take another look at that. Maybe you need to meet some new people and create a new circle where everyone loves each other. This is things that Spirit guides us to do. Surround yourself with love. Art can be a great thing. Creativity, watch my video on creativity if you want to think up some ideas on what you could do and really understand art and why it's so beautiful and why it's so powerful for us to create. Watch my video creativity. Art is a very high frequency thing, so maybe even if you don't feel like you're good at painting or something, then just try it, you know? Maybe it'll be fun. Maybe it's the creating process. Maybe it's just putting a paintbrush on the canvas that actually just feels good to you, and that's that high frequency thing. And maybe it's not about the final product, about your art piece that you create, you know? Maybe it's about the process and just the fun that you have while you're doing it, you know? That's what really matters. It's not like, will I sell this for $200 or something? That's not what matters about it, you know? So try something new that you feel guided to try. And music is a huge love relationship for myself. And if you want some high frequency music to listen to, check out my channel and some of my songs. And surround yourself with high frequency music, and maybe write a song or try picking up an instrument or something, and maybe some hobbies like would be a great thing to support your journey to enlightenment. And just creating love relationships with those things can be a very beautiful way to raise your frequency and follow your guidance. These are things that Spirit guides us to do, but you will be guided specifically to do specific things. So I just want you to tap into yourself and what you want. Maybe some of these things aren't in alignment with you, but I just want you to do what truly feels good to you, because low frequency things are like watching TV, watching the news, watching low frequency television shows such as anything with war or violence or dark humor or anything like that. Turn the television off and start creating, because the television is creating you and you're not creating anything. So maybe flip it around and start creating something rather than being created, you know, because that television, you know, sends off and emits a frequency to you. And if you're, you know, feeling like a victim to that, then it can indeed be the elixir that creates your actions. Your actions are born from that frequency. If you're really taking that in and really taking in that frequency from the television, it can make you feel really bad. And I would recommend just like hanging out with some friends, or watching some higher frequency television even isn't a bad idea, or doing some hobbies rather than watching the television is a great thing. And I'm just trying to give you guys some ideas, some insights, but I think you guys do get the picture of this. I love you all, and I want the best for you. I really do. I want you to follow this guidance of Spirit, of the Sacred Spirit, of the Holy Spirit, and live the beautiful life that you deserve in alignment with the Sacred Spirit, what it wants for you. So drop all of what you think you want and accept what the Spirit would have for you, because it's always better than what your self-concept as a body thinks it wants, you know? Spirit always has a better plan for us than what we think is right. So just surrender and give up all idols, give up all things that you think you want, and just have a clean slate and ask Spirit, with that clean space of mind, no thoughts, no anything, just ask, what is right for me? What do I truly want? And ask that question. And you will be guided to what you truly want if you are willing to listen, and all of these things. So I just wanted to stress at the end of, or not stress, I just wanted to say that prayer is a very powerful thing. I know I've talked about it before, but I just wanted to leave you with that, saying that just practice saying a prayer about guidance as often as possible throughout the day. Like, Holy Spirit, I am willing to be guided. Holy Spirit, I am certainly willing to be guided. And just accept this and feel those words integrate into you and listen to the Spirit. And you will receive something. Okay, so this is the end of the video. I'm a little rusty. I know I've been gone for about a month, not making any videos for about a month, so kind of jumbling over my words and stuff, but I'm trying my best, and I think I got the message through to you guys. I'm gonna end the video now. I hope I left you with a beautiful blessing, and you follow your guidance from now on. That would be a blessing to everyone, right? So just continue that forgiveness practice, and continue following your guidance. And I love you all. Unconditional love to all life everywhere. Love.